Hey, how are you doing? And last time we talked a little bit about the 999 med breath. And 999 med breath is the beginning of inner observation. It's the beginning of deep meditation. It's the beginning of looking inwardly, to be in silence, and to be in inner consciousness, observation, to operate, to discover, to learn from within. That is the beginning, because we have been used to operate from an outside world, which I call the old OS. What is the old OS? The old OS is based on materialism, it's based on particles, it's based on material science. So, especially based on appearance, based on shallow vision of the cosmos, the shallow vision of the human beings, shallow vision of life in daily living, in everything we do. Mostly recent science is based on classic physics, Newtonian physics. That is, everything is determined, that determinism, that everything can be predicted, written in one piece of paper, and for all lives. And the linear causality, the linear cause, effect, consequences. So, ignore the fact that the observer is observed. Neglect the fact that everything is quantum consciousness. Everything is derived from the quantum conscious field. So with the rise of quantum physics, and we see that old operation system has not just flaws, it is fundamentally not really can continue in this world. That fundamental believes everything is separate, everything is individual. You, material, whatever material, thousands, millions of material are just cold objects. Human beings are mechanical beings. So everything is separate, fragmented. That's the materialism, what I see, the fundamental classical physics. So the society is by labeling, is by domination, is by control, is by manipulation, hierarchy, and from top down control. So that is the old paradigm. That is the old determinism. Everything is determined. Just like the Chinese say, 生辰八字. What is 生辰八字? That means everything is pre-written. You cannot change it. It's predestined. But is that true? No, it's a fallacy. My life is a good example of that. I changed my life for hundreds of times. Nothing is set. And I was a beggar. I was, poo-poo keeper, and poo-poo and picker, and trash collector. And then nobody believed I could go to college until they say, wow, I was teaching at college. I was writing. I was not just a hospital physician, but I begin to spread the news, the message. The message is that everybody is a creator of themselves. Everybody is a healer of themselves. Everybody is a master of their own destiny. And we see millions of people change that. And millions of people create their own lives, write their own stories, and become their own composer, their own writer, their own director, and direct their own films. So, in that quantum simulation field, we see we are the simulator of ourselves. We're not just the observer or passive passenger on the big cosmic ride of this galaxy, of this cosmos. We are participator. We are changing our lives. The material is not fundamental. Everybody sees AI and they try to create a brain-like. They believe that consciousness derived from a material brain. Neurons, synapses. What a mistake, I see. The fundamental of humanity, the fundamental of life, the fundamental of the universe is consciousness. Everything has been derived from that consciousness. So when we realize the consciousness, the fundamental observer is the observed. When we see a tree, the tree, we think it's a tree. We think I look at the tree, but the thought of a tree comes from the same conscious unified field. When we have that quantum leap, that paradigm shift, we changed everything. We're no longer passive passenger. We're no longer passive rider. We're no longer passive observer. We're no longer being created. We are part of that creation. So that's why I say from the classical physics to quantum consciousness. Quantum is physics, but how much physics is in quantum? Just like Dr. or Mr. Planck said. Max Planck said, I have done physics all my life, but I don't see anything physical. Everything is energy, and if everything is energy waves, everything is the vibration. So he gave that equation I gave you guys many times, which is E equals hv. V is vibration, or F is the vibration. H is the constant So what I see is over here, that equation may not be as famous as E equals mc squared, but it's the most fundamental before E equals mc squared. So, and then Max Planck said again, behind all that vibration, behind all that particles, behind all that energy frequency is the fundamental consciousness. This is traced back to millions of years ago, to billions of years ago, to the Big Bang, or before the Big Bang. Everything comes from that consciousness, that fundamental of the consciousness. Before the atoms, before the hydrogen, before all that is in particle physics. So, this is not a one person, or today's science begin to give the evidence. From a Taoist point of view, the Tao. What is the Tao? Tao is the fundamental. Tao is the consciousness fundamental. It's nothingness. The nothingness of the potentiality, nothingness of the infinite consciousness of energy waves. From that 0 point to oneness of the universe. That oneness is the energy. The oneness is the consciousness of energy frequency of the cosmos. From that comes to one, to the particle, to all that is created from that particle. So that's Tao. Thousands of years ago, people see that. From the emptiness of the mind, what do we see? It's all illusion. That's what the Buddhist, the father of Buddhists, Gautama Siddhartha, give that explanation. Everything what we see is illusion. It's a simulation. What do we see is what do we get. What do we perceive? What do we conceive? What our action is? That's what our word is. Our so-called reality is a subjective reality. There's no such thing as objective reality as classic physics believed. Everything's objective. Material is resource. It's cold resource. Human beings are cold machines, biological machines. So AI can mimic human brain to make another human being. What a joke. Because we falsified our own mind, our own consciousness. We lower down ourselves in such a low animal that we are only a machine. Only very shallow vision, very shallow physics only believers or materialists see that. Because what you perceive, what you conceive is what you get. But the old system comes to a point. With what? With infinite conflicts, war, cold war, hard war, with the scarcity of the material, who is dominant get more. Everybody is separated. Everybody is individual. Everybody is from that fragmentation. There's nothing connect. Love material. You love me, I love you. You compassionate to me, I compassionate to you. Is that compassion? Is that love? I love this clothes. I love that car. I love that boat. I love that house. I love that woman. I love that man. But you need to support me. You need to love me back. So everything is separate. Is that world really operate that way? Yes, because we see that way, the operate that way. Everything goes to the peril of self-distinction, self-destruction. We, especially with the AI arrival, with the AGI arrival, are we going to install? Are we going to design? Are we going to guide all the AI into dominance, data dominance, algorithm dominance, calculation? Everything is computerized. Everything can be computerized. Separation with the digital so-called intelligence. Is that real intelligence? We put intelligence such a messy word. We misused the intelligence. Everything is intelligence. Is that really intelligent? And then when we look within, and we see the interconnectedness, the quantum leap, the quantum entanglement. When two particles entangled, will be entangled forever. Interacted, it will entangle forever. Doesn't matter distance. Doesn't matter how far it is. So that is beyond, transcend beyond space-time. What is space-time? Space-time is, to me, is that interface of the cosmos. Sort of like a computer interface. That's the surface of everything. That's the material surface. That's the space-time particles, particle physics. But when we see in quantum consciousness field, we say nothing is determined. Nothing starts with particles. Everything comes from that quantum conscious field. That infinite quantum conscious field, that infinite potentiality of the cosmic consciousness matrix. Life is continuing without a beginning, without an ending. Our body is only what? A temporary cell phone, a temporary interface. We are just waves of that ocean, that moment of fleeting particles. But within the fleeting particles, that particle is built by what? This big particle built by the billions of trillions of particles, trillions of cells. We say 50 trillion to 100 trillion cells. The cells, billions of particles, trillions of atom space. Nothing. It's really settled. You can go micro, infinite micro, and infinite macro. But still, need to get it in infinite potentiality of that consciousness. That is the fundamental. That fundamental consciousness gives rise to all that is, including neurons, including all the particles physics, all that interface, all that space-time. So when we see that, so we are the one together designed, created, give the DOS, give the designed old operation system together. We need to be humbly recognize that as conscious beings. Together we created this universe. Together we created this physical world. Together we created this old operation system. The scarcity, the separation, the fragmentation, the diseased state model of conflicts, of separation, the cells fighting each other. This cell, that cell, the body become diseased. All human beings begin to fight each other. Families fighting, community fighting, business fighting, compete for the dominance, nation to nation, business to business, schools to schools. That education, the obsolete education based on what? Based on classical physics. The knowledge is obsolete in terms of the era of AI. You study for 10 years. Can you compete with AI? No. So it is time for human beings to rise above, to look within, to look inside. That within is that consciousness. That within is that quantum consciousness field. That within is the cosmic being. We are going from Homo sapiens. We need to see we may together create ourselves, discover ourselves with a new operation system. That is the Homo universalis. I am the cosmos. I am the humanity. I am the conscious being. I am the consciousness of the cosmic matrix. So when we see that, we are the creators, co-creators of the universe. We are the co-creators of our reality. We no longer base everything on separation. We are the victims of the reality. We are the victims of the society. We are the victims of the politics. We are the victims of whatever that organization, whatever that parties, whatever that companies, whatever that is. We look in. If every energy frequency is changed, if everybody rises that frequency to that universalis, that cosmic consciousness frequency, we no longer into that fears, that horrors, the disease states, that conflicts, that separation. We are interconnected beings. Well, that is, the other is another expression of that self, that cosmic self. And when we see that, truly see that, when we dive into that consciousness in observation, and then when we dive into that innermost consciousness of intelligence, that intelligence will automatically let you observe, to see that interconnection. That is what? That is interconnected compassion, cohesive compassion, cohesive, connected, interconnected, all humanities, all conscious beings, all that is in the universe. And we begin to see that self-organization. The disease, the state is no longer within us because we no longer seek for hospital to treat us. We no longer see that drugs to treat us. We no longer see everything's operation. Everything's other people help us. We seek for material to plenish us. The material, food, enormous food, enormous greed of the material world, enormous clothing, enormous housing, enormous economical control. We begin to see we are all interconnected. We begin to see instead of dominance, instead of that gallows, the dark groups, we become the light. When I say the dark groups, in the United States you see mafia. The mafia believes, the mafia behaviors, the gangsters' behaviors. It's the dominance. I'm in this gallows. I'm in this street. This belongs to me. This is my street. This is my place. I'm the mafia, head of the mafia. Everybody goes with a mafia head. That's the old operation system. Is that true? You see, you look at it. That's how that is operated. That's called old operation system. That operation system comes to an end now. Because the more with the AI, the more with the development of technology of science, without compassion, without interconnectedness, and we see we are separated. We see we're going to destroy each other. Actually, we're destroying ourselves, because when you see the inner, you are connected to the other, you destroy the other, actually you are destroying that unique self. That's what it is. Before you see that, of course, everything's separate, because that belief, that view, that paradigm, that old paradigm, and then everything's separated. You can do whatever you want to do to the other. Whatever you can rob from the other, whatever you can dominate from the other, whatever you can control from the other. Control the wife, control the husband, control the company, control the country, control the party, control whatever you want to control. Manipulation. But when you see that interconnectedness, you control yourself. You destroy the other, you destroy yourself. You dominate the other, you dominate yourself. You separate. That's total dissipation. Because you destroy yourself, is that a dissipation? Because the constant fighting, constant inner fighting, all the cells fight each other. Is that a dissipation? Do that create a disease? You think about it. That immune disorder, that cancer, that cardiovascular disease, that constant feeding, the constant materialization, the constant blocking. What is blocking? It is the old system is blocking. That old OS is blocking. That blocking is the view, that paradigm blocking, that behavior blocking, that systematically old system blocking. So that old system comes to an end on the crash, on the peril of crashing itself. Just like a car. You're running fast, you're going to crash. That's why we are. That's where we are. We're on the crashing, self-destruction. That peril. Without peril comes opportunity. Catalyst to make us to see from inner being. It's another way. The Tao. What is the Tao? The heaven, the earth, the cosmic being, the human being, all connected. We are the cosmos. That's why I say use universalities. That Homo universalis, that's cosmic beings, cosmic human beings, cosmic conscious beings. When we are cosmic conscious beings, everything in the universe, I am the universe. I don't have to dominate. I don't have to rob, because I rob myself. I kill myself. I destruct myself. I bound myself, because that's another expression of myself. Do you see that? That is the new paradigm we need to see. This paradigm has been viewed by Jesus. Jesus said it clearly. Look in within. Repent what you did to society. We are the co-creator of that old system. We need to humbly to recognize that. We need humbly to see what we have done. We need humbly to stand up to ourselves, our old vision, our old conflict, our old separation, our old view, our behavior. Detach from that behavior. Detach from the perception. Detach from the old conformity, the conditioned mind. It's very simple. That's why I have this very simple thing. It's just simple breathing to give that a silence, to give that opportunity to interconnect yourself with the cosmic, with earth, with the ecosystem. Because we are destroying the ecosystem, because we believe we are separated from the ecosystem. We are separated from the earth. The earth is just the cold material. We rob from it, we dig from it, and we destroy it for our own benefit. No, you're not. You dig, you are killing yourself. Don't you see that? Because you don't see, because you're on the old paradigm. That old operation system. Let's see, we can create the old operation system. We certainly can design, can guide new operation system. To see that interconnectedness, to see that cosmic beings of each one of us. And we no longer separated. We no longer have that hate. We no longer have that fear. We no longer have that division, that killing behavior, that competition, that struggle of that sufferings. We emerge from that old system. We dive into the new. We dive into the consciousness, the innermost consciousness of this intelligence. That intelligence is that compassion. That intelligence is that wisdom. That intelligence is that vision. That deep understanding, that insight of life, the insight of the cosmos. And then when we install, when we design, when we guide the new AGI with the new system, the AGI become a great assistant to us. When that happens and we rise above that material world and we become the creator, the designer, create a new story, instead of be trapped by the old story. We create a new movie instead of being trapped by the old 3D movies. You create a new conscious reality instead of being trapped by the old conflict reality, scarcity, disparity, disproportion, dominant get all. Because that old system is crashing right now. The new system is rising. I just want to give you a wake-up call. That's all. If you see the call, you see the resonance, let's do together. I now have this genesis. The genesis of the new system. The genesis of new OS. The genesis of new quantum field. We need to see, to observe, to dive into the consciousness that innermost consciousness of the intelligence, the innermost consciousness of wisdom, of compassion. When we dive into a new system, we leave alone the old system. It's not an old system, it's full of flaws. The new system, the old system comes to an end. That old operation system comes to an end. A new system must emerge. And we are totally together to co-create with the cosmos, because we are the cosmic beings. We create a new OS with the consciousness that installed. That's already in us. It's not somebody installed us. It's we already have. Because we are holographic. The holistic holographic being. Each cell is a holographic cell that build the holographic human unique being. The whole human beings are holographic human beings of the cosmos. When we see that interconnected conscious beings, bomb another, kill another, murder another, compete with another, rob from another, destroy another. It's a total fallacy. Disease state model, no longer there. Fear is no longer there. Dissipation of energy is no longer there. Because when you dissipate energy, your energy frequency is low. Disease arises. From the green light to yellow to red. A lot of people in red. The society is in red. Let's go back to the green. That's back to the consciousness, back to the fundamental of the universe. Fundamental of consciousness, life itself. So that's what I see. That's what this conference about. It's an initiation. It's a calling. It's a awakening. If you resonate with us, come over. We can talk. You can connect with us anywhere in the world, anywhere in this planet. We have online, we have offline. Offline is in Atlanta. Online is everywhere in this planet of Earth, at least. All the information is on DeRu Academy, DeRuAcademy.com, and ZenConference.org. So, and then connect with us. Okay? You can call us. And when you see this podcast, and we are already connected. Thank you. Let's together create this compassionate universe, compassionate humanity. Dive into the flow of a new energy frequency, that flow of action, what I call Wu Wei Wu Bu Wei. What is Wu Wei Wu Bu Wei? No action, no force action. Everything comes to realization. Everything is in flow. That's Wu Wei Wu Bu Wei. 禅五合一. What is 禅? 禅 is that campus, that consciousness campus. Consciousness in business, consciousness in education, consciousness in society, consciousness in future eco-living, consciousness in all that is. Entrepreneurship, whatever. That consciousness is the consciousness of the wisdom, the consciousness of humanity, the consciousness of compassion. The deep consciousness, not just the superficial, that subconsciousness, that automatic consciousness, that disk, printed thoughts consciousness, that contents of consciousness, that contents of the consciousness is the consciousness of the past, is the consciousness of the old operation system. That consciousness must be detached. Emerge from that consciousness to a new consciousness. Shift. That new consciousness is the deep consciousness of the cosmos, instead of the consciousness of the separation, fragmentation, conflicts, labeling, status quo, domination quo. That, as I come back to the origin of what I said, 天人合一. The cosmos and me and the human beings are in one resonance, coherent universe. Thus we are. Let's see if we can transform. Thank you. I think we can. Otherwise, I died so many times. I'm back in life again to give that talk, to give that connection, because I see, as everybody can see, I'm just an ordinary person with ordinary self-learning, self-discovery, self-observation, and to see that interconnectedness, and everybody can see. This is also evidenced by the quantum physics. The observed and observed. All the reality, all the consciousness, all the particles are interconnected. There's no moon without being observed. Thank you. I know that's spooky in action, according to our beloved Albert Einstein, but it's already evidenced by a lot of quantum physics research, evidenced by science. Science is a bridge, can give a lot of great things, but use the science and lead the science with the see, the observation, the truth of fundamental consciousness. It's not what I see when I can grasp, no. It's unveiling. It's unveiling on this process. It's unveiling as we see. It's alive. Nothing settled. Nothing physical. Nothing is determined, as I said. The observer and the observed. The observer give the conscious collapse of the particles from that sound waves of the universe conscious energy frequency into that realization. You are and we are the creator of that universe reality. Thank you. Okay, 我经常说无为而无不为。So I often say 无为而无不为。What is 无为? 无为, and a lot of people translate it as no action, or action without force, or effortless action. To me, it's a flow. It's in flow. Your life is in flow, your energy is in flow, your consciousness is in flow. That means you have a coherence flow. That is Wu Wei. Coherence flow. Resonance with the cosmos. When you are in resonance with the cosmos, everything is in flow. When you're in Tian Dao, that means you are in Dao. Everything is in flow. When you have the passion, that passion is connected with the cosmos. That passion is connected with the quantum consciousness field. You're totally, just like the internet. Beautiful, clear. 3D, 5D, 6D. And then you have 5G, 6G. And all things is clear. So that's a beautiful transmission. When you have that connection, when you have that resonance with cosmic consciousness, or I call it the conscious matrix of the cosmos, or the conscious quantum conscious field of the cosmos, it's the same thing. That potential is infinite. That connection is infinite. Everything is in flow. When you struggle, and take really forceful action, that's struggle. That has nothing with flow. That's nothing with the real work. A real Kung Fu is in flow. Real Kung Fu is with the bottom of the heart, that passion with cosmos, that passion with the nature, that passion totally connected with the quantum consciousness, what I called leaps of quantum consciousness. That means you have the quantum leap in the consciousness field. Thank you. When we say action, when we say Kung Fu, Kung Fu is action. Kung Fu is action. Action is Kung Fu. This is action, not like movie action movies. Or Kung Fu in violence. This is action. It's really the flow of movement, flow of motion, flow of energy, flow of that energy frequency, flow of the vibration, flow like water. So that can be flowed in anything you do. You do science, you do mathematics, you do arts, painting, dance, anything you do. When you have the flow, when you're in that zone, that means you are connected. And then anything you do, you don't have to struggle. When you struggle, when you really work hard, something is wrong. You are not in the flow. Now, a lot of people say, oh, we're going to work hard eventually. No, there's no such thing as eventually. Because the beginning is wrong, everything is wrong. Don't do anything you don't like. Don't do anything against your will. Don't do anything against your inner observation or inner consciousness, your inner energy flow. Be in flow, my friend, like water. Be in flow, my friend, like a sine wave of the cosmos. Be in flow, my friend. Connect with the cosmos, the consciousness matrix of the cosmos in that field.